Hello, this is Shirley, the herb lady. I have been thinking about, I could call myself the herb lady, but God made these herbs as a gift for us. And people don't realize you have a gift. And I've been starting through the Bible again this year. This is my 40th time through the Bible. And in Genesis 1:11, it talks about God gave us herbs, and 1:29. But 104 is the one that I like the best, is God gave us for the service of man and services for the ministry of man. God gave us the herbs to use, and a lot of times we are not using them. It's a gift that God gave you, and you're not using your gifts. So I pray that you do use your gifts. Today I'm going to talk about herbs for your feet, because a lot of people are walking in here and having, most of the time I stop talking about something that people keeps walking in here and asking help with. And this week it's been feet. And when you have swollen ankles, most time it's lack of water. You have to drink water. A lot of times it's your heart. And I have to give you hawthorn berry to get the heart going. And a lot of times it's just too much salt, too much food that you're eating that is not healthy food. And so it's processed food. So, but you don't want swollen ankles. It's not good. And a lot of times it's lack of protein and lack of enzymes. Chlorophyll is really, really good for the colon. And so if you keep your colon clean, a lot of times your feet will straighten out and be really good. Now, if your feet stink, it's lack of the B complex and or your colon. It could be either one. And so that's why you have to try one. And I always say don't give up, because a lot of times your body needs more than one or two herbs. A lot of times if you want pretty toenails, and most people that come in here, they do not have pretty toenails, it's lack of calcium. And if you have calcium or coil calcium, if you're too acid, it's coil calcium. If you're just like 6.8 in your pH, then it's regular calcium. I knew a nurse, well, I still know her. She's been a nurse for over 50 years. But she told me every time she got ready to go on her, had to go in and go work for 12 hours straight in a row, sometime longer, she always put Thai food lotion on the bottom of her feet. And she said she didn't get tarred feet. And she said that was excellent. It helped to increase the circulation. It's an herb that we have that's a lotion that's got oils in it, and it's called Thai food lotion. And then I had another lady that used to work at Sears, and she used to stand on her feet for 12 hours, and she said, Shirley, my feet hurt so bad. And I got her on Varagon. Varagon has got horse chestnut in it, and it makes your veins and your arteries stronger, and it helped her feet. And after, it took a couple of weeks, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks. And anyway, she could stand 12 hours, and it didn't bother her anymore. She said, my feet don't feel tired anymore. I can stand and they don't hurt. And she came back and thanked me quite a bit. So that was really good. And what about blisters? Oh, wait a minute. Varagon was the one that she took to stand on her feet. It's just a capsule and then blisters, you take lavender oil, tea tree oil with a carrier oil. And you can soak your feet with Epsom salt, but a lot of times the carrier oils with essential oils really, really help, especially tea tree oil takes care of the bacteria, and lavender relaxes. Okay, then I had a guy walk in, and I'm going to talk about him. He walked in, and I should take the time to look at the pictures that they take with the cell phone, but this picture was he had open sores on his toes. And I said, first, throw the shoes away. Get loose shoes when you because he said they was rubbing and he couldn't feel them. And I said, couldn't feel them. No, that's not sounding good either. So we have this herb that's called PLS2. It's a blend of herbs for inflammation, and it helps to, I told him to take some water and a capsule and make a paste and put it on his toes and then put a Band-Aid over the top of it. And he came back in a couple of days and he said his sores on his feet was completely healing up. I mean, he was so he was impressed. He was really happy because the feet, because he had to stand on his feet. He's a maintenance man. For a week he came in and he said, I can feel my feet now. And I said, you must be. I didn't know he was a diabetic, and he must have been a diabetic because only people that eat too much sugar, they can't feel the feet or anything. And he's so happy now he can feel his feet. And when I first met him, when he walked into the shop, he had had cancer. And so he was trying to get rid of it. And so I gave him the basic things on cancer. It stopped the sugar. And he had his mother-in-law there. She does all the cooking because both of them, him and his wife works. And she went through the whole house. I think she said 8 bags of food she gave away because if it has sugar in it. And anyway, they did what I told them to do, and the whole life turned around. It completely changed. And I told them no caffeine, and they ate towards the blood type. So when you eat towards your blood type, what you're doing is you're taking the stress off your body so your body can heal faster. A lot of people say, the herbs is not working. Well, if they're eating food against the blood type, they're slowing their healing down. But if they eat towards the blood type, and anything that says avoid on the blood type, they don't touch, then the body heals faster. And that's what's happened to this guy. And they did everything, the whole family. And not only him, but he's got a whole bunch of other relations. I think they got 8 in the house now. And some of them's going for what they're doing, and but they don't bring the sugar in. They don't bring the caffeine in. So if anybody's living in the house, they want it, they have to go out and get it because they see he has hope changed. And at the office where he works at, they said he looks younger. He's more peppy. He said he noticed that when they asked him to do a job, he just picks up his feet and goes. And he said, before that, I was dragging. And so he's so thankful for feeling so good. He said he had more energy, and the people said that he was looking a lot younger. And he's just a really nice guy. But the main thing, he's thankful. He's thankful for God making the herbs. I'll show you. Now, that's a good testimony. Now, I'll show you a bad testimony, why I'm so against sugar. About 28 years ago, when I first started, I used to, and really nice lady, really nice. And she came to all my meetings and all that stuff. But when I mentioned sugar, she said, no, I'm going to eat my sugar. Well, she was a diabetic, and so she lost her fingers. I think it was 2 or 3 fingers. Then she lost a couple of toes, and then she lost half her leg, and then she died. And from then on, I said, I'm not going to say whatever. I'm really dogmatic about sugar. Throw it out of the house because it can literally kill you. And it killed that lady. And I mean, she wasn't old that the sugar done her in. And it was so sad that she didn't have to die out after I studied about sugar 40 years ago. So, and then I had to figure out how would I get my husband along with me. And this book I bought it a long time ago, probably over 50 years ago, Consumers Beware. It was a woman that worked for the government. She retired, and then she wrote a book about how they paid underneath the table. If you read it, it's really amazing. But I still got the book. I need to read it again. But I haven't read it since back then. But I went to the chapter about sugar and brown sugar, and my husband used to read to me right before we went to sleep, and I handed it to him. I fell asleep, but he was reading it. I woke up the next morning, and all the sugar and the brown sugar, especially the brown, I had already threw the sugar away, but the brown sugar, he said, honey, I went and dumped it in the trash. I said, you did? He said, well, listen to what it says, and he had read it. And that most times, don't tell a person that you're going to do something. Teach them or let them read something. And that's how, like this one mother came in, and she was just so distressed about a 12-year-old girl because she got the whole family off of sugar, but the 12-year-old girl kept on bringing sugar in. And she said, what can I do? I said, I got a list of 76 things. The woman wrote a thesis on, and she became a doctor, and she wrote a book on it. And I said, just let her read the 76 things while you're cleaning the house or whatever you're doing, but do work and have her to read it to you. And when she did, when she got down to migraines and psoriasis, and the girl had both of them, she said, Mom, I'm not going to touch sugar again. And so far, a week later, she came in and said, so far she hadn't touched no more sugar. So if she can remember those steps of what the disease that sugar causes, you won't touch it. I had another customer, this just not happened maybe a year or two ago, goes out fishing and she wears these boots all the time. Well, she didn't notice her big toe got infected and it got black and it started going up her leg. And she ended up in the hospital. And they called me, the husband called me and said, Shirley, what can we do? And I said, well, let the hospital do whatever it can do. But I said, stop dumping her with silver Shield in her mouth. And he did. And we got her some other herbs too. And finally, she got out of there with her toe. They was going to cut it off. But we reversed it because the husband kept on taking herbs in there to her when he could. And we got it reversed, and now she's still walking around with her feet. And I mean, she was so close. They had already said they was going to cut her toe off, and they didn't do it because it changed overnight. So I was real thankful for that. And she's still on sugar, and because see, sugar feeds viruses, and most time when something's growing in your body like that, it's a virus or a bacteria. And what you got to do is you got to kill it so the immune system, your white blood cells, can take over and help. Okay, the next thing for your feet is bunions. I've seen quite a few ladies, most time the shoes is not wide enough and they're too tight, but soak your feet in dandelion tea. And now it takes several weeks. Don't think it's going to happen overnight. Nothing happens overnight with herbs unless you're a teenager or a real young kid. Most of the time I can get rid of the stuff real fast. But when we're old, we've done it too long. But bunions, if you keep soaking your feet in dandelion tea, it really will help. Now, kidney activator helps with uric acid if you got sore toes. Or there's one guy, he called me up, he said, I got a shotgun, I'm going to shoot my toe off. It's killing me. And I said, are you eating mashed potatoes and gravy and steak? And he said, how do you know? I said, because that's what causes it. It's undigested protein, and you got to have enzymes. And I can remember him saying, I'm going to shoot my toe off. Okay, and then you want to keep your body clean. It's like cleaning a house. You got to keep your body clean. And I mean, how many people come in, and every year I know they're going to come in and hit me with my Clean Start because they come in and clean their body quite often. But a lot of people, I can talk to them, they can be 40, 50, 60. They have never even cleaned themselves. And to truly clean yourself, you need about 90 days of a colon cleanse, 90 days, and then eat towards your blood type, and then no sugar, and then your body just goes, it's just really happy. And then cayenne will help with the circulation on your feet and your toes. And mega-cal is chelation. I'm going to go into chelation in a few minutes. Peppermint oil on the bottom of your feet is real good, but always use a carrier oil with it. And if you have calluses, chamomile, oregano, or peppermint oil too. Now, if you have cold feet, remember I talked about cayenne is real good for cold feet too, but work with your thyroid. Keep doing kelp, because most of the time that will get you. Corns, it said peppermint and lemon and myrrh on your corns. And a lot of people have cracked feet. A lot of times they're not taking omega-3. A lot of people say, I'm taking 1 omega-3. A lot of times they need 4 and 4 omega-3. And they need flaxseed oil, they need hair, skin, and nails, and they need golden salve to rub on it. Well, take care of your feet because they take you in many miles of walking.